I said I wasn't sure that I was going to do the Justice Lord J'onn J'onzz, but we are. And the reason is because I got this Aquaman body. I got him for $5 and I traded the head to Sam for a figure he wanted to do of a Dungeons and Dragons figure. And I thought the body was just awesome. Like, this is the most epic like toy body. It's textured. It doesn't have a lot of like things that scream, I'm Aquaman. It's awesome. And I put the J'onn J'onzz head on it just because I was like, oh, I'm gonna put, what extra heads do I have? And as soon as I put the J'onn J'onzz head on it, I realized, oh, I have a J'onn J'onzz head. So we can do Justice Lord J'onn J'onzz. And we'll use this really awesome body to do it. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna first spray paint him black because he's all black. That will, unfortunately, like I was kind of debating on whether or not to leave the sort of see-through plasticness of this Aquaman. But then I also was like, that's gonna be hard, and it's, yeah, J'onn J'onzz can like become invisible and stuff, but I don't wanna deal with it. So we're just gonna go all black. We're gonna do some milliput. We're gonna do some sculpting, and I'm gonna do what I realized with the Wonder Woman and with the Green Lantern. I'm gonna make this my version of J'onn J'onzz from the Justice Lords, and so it's not gonna be completely accurate because I had more fun with those figures when I made them my own. So we're gonna make this guy my own, and we're gonna have some fun, so let's jump in. Right off the bat, we're gonna experiment. So I took his head off, and I got this figure, and I used the hair on a different figure, but I'm gonna take off the cape here. So I want to use it for this J'onn J'onzz. And so we're just going to peel it off and attach it to him instead. And sometimes these can be a bit of a pain, especially with this one has a thin cape up top, and this is a really thick point. I don't want to break the cape, so I might need to get in there with an X-Acto knife and cut it, but it will come out, trust me. If you guys have any idea on what to do with her at this point, you just let me know, because I am clueless. Got us some nice Vallejo black paint for plastics, which I found is what I want. It sticks much better. And let's make this happen. Now I've got some milliput here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to mold on his, like, he's got that, you know, the thing that kind of comes down, the blue, over his chest. And I'm going to try and do it nice and thin. One thing I've found that I've done with the milliput is that I tend to go too thick on it. Not that it's like really a big problem if I go too thick on it. It's just that it makes it so that everything stands out a bit too much. And so that's one thing that I'm learning, is that if I can really spread it out nice and thin, then it ends up working better. So that's what I'm gonna do here, is I'm gonna try and get it nice and thin, going down, and I'm gonna feed it up under these pauldrons here. And then I'm gonna take some, and we're gonna create his little, he has like almost like a collar that kind of goes around here. So we're gonna do that. And then once I got it in place, looking the way that I want to, I'm gonna take some of my tools, and I'm just gonna try and mold it around, first to give enough room around, you know, the head, so that it doesn't, so the head can sit. And then just kind of get it into the right shape. And that'll take a little bit, but just take some time and get it as nice as you can. And if you got to get a thinner one of these, which you'll probably need to do around the neck, then do so. But obviously milliput takes a few hours to set, so it's not, you know, it's not a rush. You can take the time to get it right. I've had to use several different tools to get this kind of as close to smooth as I can get it. Obviously I'll need to sand some of it. Now I'm going to take right here, while this is all still wet, and I'm going to cut in the line so that is perfect. That is one nice thing about this, is that you can go in with an X-Acto knife and you can cut it so that the line is straight. Now before I form the last bits of milliput, I'm going to cut off the Aquaman sign here on the belt, because obviously J'onn J'onzz doesn't have an Aquaman sign. He has a circle. Last thing with the milliput is I need to form a circle. I'm going to take this Green Lantern symbol,
and just press it and come up with the circle for his chest. And then we're going to just place it. And once it's placed, I'm going to kind of trim around the edges very carefully so that we can just kind of circle it out and get it so that it doesn't have any of the slop. And then once I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve in the symbol, because he's got a little, like, it's just like 4 little lines in here. And then once we got that, we'll dry, and then we'll be ready to paint him, which I'm very excited about. He's all dry, so let's go ahead and take our Dremel and let's start sanding him down. What I want to do is just get things so that they're even. And so that's what I'm going to work on. See, we're getting that flat. Up here is really smooth still, but we'll go around in here and get these as well. Now what I'm doing is I've got this little metal brush on here, and it's allowing me to polish things a little bit more. I've been learning more and more about the Dremel, and you know, sometimes it'll leave lines and stuff, just like with sanding. And it's got these other tools that just allow you to do different things, smooth things out. And so I'm just kind of experimenting with different stuff, seeing what works, what does a good job. Not, you know, this is kind of my first time really delving into it, so we'll see how things turn out, but it seems to be polishing it up pretty good, getting rid of some of these other lines. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what I'm learning about this thing and what tools work best for what function, but it is really smoothing it out. Went ahead and spray painted them black just to match everything so that from here on out all the blue and such will match. And so now I'm just going through with my standard Vallejo blue, and I'm just going to cover this area here, the neck, up here on the pauldrons, and his funky little collar. So I'm just going to go through nice and quick, and then I'll go through and hit the edges with a thinner brush. And then I will hit the cape with a much bigger brush so that I can go nice and quick. The great thing about these Vallejo paints, as you guys know, is that A, they're nice and thin. When I've used the acrylics in the past, which sometimes I do, like on capes and stuff, I found the more I've done this, just the worse it kind of turns out, because they're very thick. They go on thick. They get clumpy sometimes. And so having these thinner ones is very nice. So I'm just going to go through, add the blue where it needs to be blue, and this is where the character is really going to start taking on a different look. Just going to go through here on the belt and get the blue, just like all the other Justice Lords. It kind of has a gap in between. So I'll just get the blue in here on both sides. And that will allow us to get the look that we're after. His body really is turning out quite perfect for this figure, because it's going to look really good once painted. And it's got the right details in the right place. I mean, obviously these characters their designs are very simple and straightforward, so all of the textures and stuff aren't a part of the original character, but I love textures on a figure, so for me it's working out just fine. There we go. On the boots here, I'm just going to hit this middle line. You can see that it's got kind of a groove here. So that's what I'm going to do for the blue down here. So I'm just going to hit this line right here, go all the way across, and call it good. That should look nice. Time has come to paint the red symbol. So just going to go through. This is, you know, there's not a lot to most of this, the rest of this. It's just putting paint on it and then seeing whether it's enough. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this base coat, and then I've got that really liquidy red that goes on really bright. I think I'm going to put that on after I'm done with this and make this red super bright. This is supposed to be Mars on his chest. That's why it's got the the lines, because you can see those lines in telescopes. And so that's why he's got the lines here. So yeah, we're getting close. After this, I'll just do some touch-up, make sure that everything is looking good, and then we'll clear coat them. I'll just spray them with a clear enamel, something shiny, and that should do it. One thing I've decided to do on these pauldrons is add some of the metallic blue that I've got. And I might put it on all of the blue, I'm not sure. Just want to see how it looks. Now these pauldrons make them look a little bit more metallic. I think we'll just add to the figure. You remember, I'm not trying to make this 100% accurate, but I think the metallic will make it look really nice. We'll see when it dries whether I want to do it on all of the blue. Yeah, we'll see. I decided to do all the blue in the metallic, just with a light coat. It made it look pretty nice. And now the last thing I'm going to do before the clear coat is I'm going to add just a little bit of wash in here to these lines to make them stand out. That's all I'm doing. Just going through, making it so that they just stand out a little bit more. Oh, that's going to fall. There we go. And I'm going to move it around a little bit. I'll probably take some toilet paper and tap on the top because I don't want it to be too much. That might even be too much right there. But I'll dab it a little bit with some toilet paper. I'll grab some right now while we're here. And I'm just going to do nice and quick because I don't want it to get out of those lines. And there we go. I think that's about right. Just feel free to go through again and hit those lines because now I've got even less on here. And that will make them stand out. I think all we got to do is spray them clear coat. Call it good. Get his head back on, of course. One other thing I've decided to do is here on the arms and on the legs, he's got this kind of metallic, or like it looks like armor, kind of, from Aquaman's stealth suit. And so I'm just taking a little bit of the metallic blue and going over the top of it, just to make it look like it matches, you know, that it stands out because it is something different. And no, it's not accurate to the character, but I think it's going to make the figure look cooler. So I'm just going to go over these nice and light with that blue so that it looks like a different texture. And I did finally see Aquaman yesterday, and it was aggressively fine. I didn't love it. I liked it better than the first one. I really disliked the first one. So, I'm not going to own it, but it was fine. See, it's subtle, but I think it'll look really nice.
Here we are. I think this turned out to be a really fun character. I didn't know what to do with this Aquaman body that I got for super cheap. I completely forgot that I had the John Jones head. I literally was thinking I'm never going to do Justice Lord John Jones because I don't care enough and I don't want to go and, you know, track down a John Jones body. And here we go. I was able to do it. I'm really happy with how he turned out. Now, I did learn some things. And one of the things is that the next time I use the Milliput for something like this, I'm going to mold it in and then dry it and then use the Dremel to carve out the symbol because I have little saw blades and stuff. Because doing it the way that I did it, it left some indentations and things that I couldn't quite buff out unless I went down really, you know, unless I really sanded it down really heavily. So I think that's what I'm going to do in the future. So I learned some good stuff from this figure. And that's what I'm always hoping for, is to learn a little something new and be able to create something. Take a look. Here is the entire Justice Lords all together, all 6 of them. And not something I set out to do. I got that Batman and thought, oh, maybe. And some of them turned out really nice and some of them did not. But that's how it goes. We're having fun. We're hand painting. And I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoy. Give me tips when you see me screwing up, because you guys give me tips and sometimes it completely changes how I do things for the better. So I always appreciate when you guys are like, hey, try this. I love it. Thank you for watching and subscribing, and I'm Stephen Heumann. Check out stephenheumann.com for all of my novels, and I will see you guys next week.